Hey guys, what the flick? Welcome to our Homeland review show. I'm Jenna Busch.
I'm Robert Abele.
And we have a clip for you right here.
The tyranny of secrets.
The tyranny of keeping them.
People must know the truth.
You are part of an important story. I want to be the one to tell it.
We're all hoping you'll be on your best behavior here in Pakistan.
Monsters, all of you.
Get the f out of my face, Lieutenant.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Okay, so we had a 2-hour premiere, or just under 2-hour premiere. The Drone Queen, and I'm actually going to look at this as I try to read it. Trylon and Perisphere.
Perisphere, which I believe is a World's Fair 39 New York references.
1936, there were two structures, and I don't actually get the connection here, but that's okay. I get Drone Queen, it was on a cake.
Well, Well, it seems like the show is being set up to have two structures with Carrie and Quinn. I think they're turning Quinn into like a certain kind of lead, and I think he's, in the way he's responding to things, he is now going to be the moral center of the show, even though he was obviously very strange and mysterious and could go either way, you felt like in the past 2 seasons. Now, the way he's acting, you think, okay, well, if Carrie's going to be going nuts and not going nuts, but like doing things that are morally questionable, he's going to be the one to always, you know, feel intensely what's going on.
He's very pretty when he feels intensely. But one of the things I think is interesting is like he's a parent and he did all of these terrible things. And so he has to, like, he's sort of the after effect of what might happen to Carrie. Right. Unless, of course, she drowns her baby, in which case she's going to jail. Well, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Let's start off with Sandy in the car.
Yeah.
So poor Corey Stoll, he just keeps getting killed off.
No, that was good stunt casting. It's like, oh, there's Corey Stoll, and then and then it's you're thinking like he's on the strain too. So is he gonna just do 2 TV shows? And then like they kill him, and you're like, oh, so he's stunt casting. Like they cast somebody who you like right away, you're kind of into, you're interested in, and then they knock him off, and then he becomes the mystery of the season.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see where we find Carrie now. She's got Franny, the baby, who looks freakishly like her dad.
Yeah.
Even though
acknowledge that the hair was like, whoa,
the red
that's
hair,
intense.
The red hair. She's taking Ambien. She's drinking her wine, which she always does.
Right.
She's
and she wants to be anywhere but where that baby is.
Anywhere but where the baby is, which is, I mean, it sort of makes sense for her, but it also sort of demonstrates how like out of it she really is. Because if you're that person, you say, you take the baby. Here's the baby for adoption. It just doesn't seem like she's completely together, because she could, like a logical person could make that decision and say, I am not prepared to be a mom. Do you want to adopt the baby? Have the baby, take my baby.
I think she thought that her sister would just take care of everything for her.
I think so too.
You understand the sister's resentment, how quickly it comes to the surface when Carrie shows any indication that she doesn't want to be there for the baby.
Yeah, and what was the line? There's no diagnosis for what's wrong with you. Yes. No, there probably isn't. Although, to be fair, I think it's very PTSD. The show has done a really excellent job of exploring PTSD, what it does, and especially with the troops that we have everywhere right now, that's a really important thing to look at. And the different versions of PTSD and what it's causing Quinn to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, what was interesting, like Carrie first season, bipolar, and but you were behind her because you knew that she was right about Brody, and so she was acting crazy, but you knew she was right. Now that she's kind of like, now that the bipolar thing is really kind of like, she's obviously got that under control, she takes her pills, you maybe are more scared for who she is, that maybe she's this secretly like she can order a strike and kill a bunch of people and then just kind of move on from it. And I think that's what that last scene is, where she's looking up, I mean, any show about the war on terror that shows an American looking in the mirror with blood on their face is a powerful image. That's like and then what she does is she wipes it off, puts lipstick on instead. It's replacing lipstick with blood. And I think that's that is great writing, great directing, tells you a lot about who Carrie is, and I think that it keeps the show on psychologically good footing.
Yeah, and I do want to be clear when I say what it's causing Quinn to do. I want to be very clear when I say I have no problem with who he slept with. I'm talking about the punching later on.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like, he punches, she almost drowns a baby. I mean, I think those two are supposed to be kind of like, he is willing to go there and do that thing that is not right. Granted, it's not killing a baby, but I mean, like, but that I think those were supposed to be parallel scenes. I feel like.
And he didn't stop himself, and she did.
Right.
Also, something interesting to look at. And it's so we should also talk about Mandy Patinkin.
Yes.
Oh, he shaved his beard. Thank God he grew it back.
He looks trimmer too.
He does look trimmer. He
Yes.
totally does. I love his character, and I've always loved their relationship, and I thought it was very telling that they didn't hug when they saw each other again, that they haven't spoken. Because I think Carrie at this point just wants to push everyone in her life that calls her on anything away. It's that, you know that thing when you're a teenager, you're like, look, if you all just left me alone, I could do what I need to do. I can figure out who the hell I am. And everything keeps coming in, but she has manipulated her way to a position of power.
Yes, and I think she looks at Saul, and obviously Saul will come back in probably and be in charge of things again. I think she knows that she's got the kind of relationship with Saul where, while at times he pushes back, she knows also she can get what she wants from him, and I think
now we also have, and one of the things that I love about this show is the ability to make characters that should be likable, not likable, and characters that should not be likable. That's been really, like, they've hit that on the head every single season. So I'm interested to find out about our paramedical student and what he's actually doing, because it was, it was a play on people's stereotypes, and you see a guy in a traditional garb looking at bodies over there, you immediately assume something about him. And I was asking other people online about, like, did you make an assumption? Did you think maybe he's a medical student? That was supposed to be jarring. Should it have been jarring? Probably not. But it was very interesting, and what he's got in that duffel bag.
what he's got in the duffel bag, obviously they were setting that up to be something mysterious. But I have to say that I think with roles like that, an actor is cast to give you a quick sense of what you might think of them, and I think we are ultimately supposed to feel for him, whatever secret he has, or whatever. I think, and I'll be honest, I've seen the third episode, so I'm not. You find out a little bit more, but yeah, I'm just saying you do feel for him and what he's going through.
Yeah, and it is really interesting, just the posting, and it's something that actually has been a theme in a lot of shows this week, posting things on the internet and what it can do.
That was really well done, I thought.
Yeah, and also having to post it from a specific IP and how you have to hide that, and what happens if video leaks, and how you live your life in public. So the guys who came in to beat him up.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, did they work for his uncle? Did he work for his uncle? Did he do it reluctantly?
Is there something about that video, that wedding video, that tells you more than we think it does? Or, I mean, that kind of thing. Yeah,
so where do you see this going? Because they had a pretty long coming attractions.
Yeah, that was almost like this season on Homeland coming attraction. Obviously they're going to try and I think recruit Ion, I believe his name is. And and that will set up, a central. One of the things I like about where the season is going, it's getting back to this to the craft of actually recruiting spies.
Yeah.
And I think after having gone through a couple seasons of is he or isn't he, with Brody, now we're going to get into what people at the CIA do, which is they try to find assets and they try to recruit them. And I think so far that's where we're headed.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting with Brody. I was, of course, I think like most people, concerned that not having him on the show was gonna. I mean, not that Claire Danes is monumentally incredible. I mean, she's just mind-blowing. But that it was their chemistry that was so good. But I found that I did not miss him.
Yeah, no, and I think we don't miss him because they appropriately they ended his storyline appropriately. I mean, and I do think. I forget his name. The actor playing Quinn, Rupert Friend, is just really doing a great job now.
I
think you build him up, and then we're good with some sort of male counterpart to Carrie.
And I am curious about what backstory they have, because I believe earlier seasons I was like, oh, they've got interesting chemistry. I wonder if that will, if Brody leaves the show, because we didn't know back then, if that will go anywhere. Now, we've had a time jump here, so is it possible that, I I don't know that there was something between them, because she said he sacrificed. I mean, he basically threw Sandy out and saved her. Well, he didn't throw; she was pulled out. But
no, but in the split second it takes to deal with that kind of thing, in saving Carrie, you turn back and all of a sudden he's out of the car.
Yeah, so he saved her.
Kind of wear on him.
And she also said, with her posting, why didn't you come with me? I wanted you to come with me.
Right.
So
well, I think he's got a thing for her.
Yeah,
I
do too. I do too. All right, well, that does it for our Homeland wrap-up show, and we will see you next week.